So, Helmet Head and her fucking Mari block here. I mean, you couldn't make this gaff up, man. We're a feminist country now. I mean, how. Uh, Scotland's shaken off its macho image and is now leading the way in feminism, claims Nicola Helmet Head Sturgeon. And she hailed young gay politician Mary Black as being unafraid to upset the apple cart. And why do we need to know she's gay? Nobody cares that she's gay, but it's part of the intersectional tick boxes, is it not? Speaking to Glasgow Clyde College journalism students in the Pattern magazine, Helmet Head has also advised young women don't try and fit in with others around you, instead be yourself. Well, if that was the case, why are you interfering at children's high schools and primary schools even to try and make it so that you can try and coerce girls to go into different subjects to what they ordinarily choose, because you have made it so that girls only choose certain subjects, which leads to them having lesser paid jobs in their adult life. It's discrimination and sexism and bias. That's what's forcing them to choose certain subjects, when the reality of the matter is it's because boys and girls are different. But oh no, we have to play along with Sturgeon's fucking BS. So as well, what else have we got? We've got the STEM fields, and they're even going so far now as to start teaching the STEM, introducing STEM to nursery children. And when I say children, we mean girls. They've made it clear it's for girls, but yeah, they say children, so, and to the untrained eye, it might just look like they mean children. And they want to do this as young as possible because they believe that girls are put off the idea of going into the STEM fields by the time they reach adolescence. So if they can interfere when they're in nursery and the first few years of primary school, then there's more likelihood of them going into STEM in adult life. So for you to sit there and talk about don't try and fit in, be yourself, but then yet you're doing absolutely everything in your power to interfere constantly in children's lives as young as possible, says a fucking lot, if I'm honest, you Helmet Head. Oh man, she's just unbearable. Like, when I was in my 20s, I don't think Scotland would have been seen as a feminist country, and we're not now. Just because you declare yourself to be a feminist, it's ugh. I could go on, but there's no point. I just come across as a misogynist. Scotland's traditional reputation is as quite a macho aggressive country, so that's been probably a relatively recent and positive transformation. A positive transformation into what exactly? We are ahead of many other countries in terms of the policies we've been implementing. Oh, here we go again. She has to preach to the choir, has to make sure that she says it loud enough that the UN might hear her, and give her a wee promotion or a wee bonus in her paycheck. Oh, I've got a gender balanced cabinet, because that really is true progression. Nothing screams out equality than quota systems forcing people into specific job roles when they ordinarily wouldn't have got there if it wasn't for the fact that they were one of two genders, or if they were a different skin colour. Very few countries in the world even now have that. Oh, we're so progressive. All the difference between us and those other countries is, of course, if we're talking about the ones where feminism is no longer required, the only difference between us and a multitude of other feminist countries, quote unquote, is the fact that you've decided to take it upon yourself to prioritise girls and women. That's all you've done. Absolutely every other promise, you fucked up. Every other thing that you said you were going to sort out in this country, you've not done. The education's fucked. I mean, I remember you said a few years prior to judge your reign on what you do with the education system. Well, I can't wait to judge you next time a vote comes around, Sturgeon, because you fucked that one up. But it's okay though, as long as they learn about feminism and the gender spectrum, we'll be alright, eh? We are working really hard to encourage better gender representation and gender balance on company boards and public sector boards, because representation, an equal amount of representation, forced quota systems, as I just said, really screams out equality. I don't know what goes through your head. I don't know what goes through any of these people's heads where they think that equates to equality, that they think that this is a sort of battle that they should be fighting. This is the sort of thing where priorities should be laid upon. I don't get it. I don't know what goes through their heads. Mary Black is a powerful role model, apparently. Is she? Is this the same Mary Black that decided to take it upon herself to redefine misogyny in order to try and tug at the heartstrings of everybody that watched her shitey YouTube video, because she received abuse on Twitter, and she decided to say that because she received abuse on Twitter and some people happened to write things in the sentences that indicated that they were referring to her as a female, that was somehow misogyny. Then she openly acknowledged that that abuse happens to male and female politicians online, but when it happens to her, it's misogyny. No, it's not. It's just abuse. No, she's phenomenal. She's a powerful role model, right? And I think people like that, young female gay, absolutely passionate about what she believes in. What relevancy is that she's gay? Who gives an F if she's gay? You know what I mean? You people, you prance about the joint, proclaiming to the world about how progressive and inclusive you are. And it's quite sad, really, how sexuality plays an integral role in so many of your lives. You know what I mean? It's not an identity. It's not anything but a sexual orientation. So what the fuck relevancy does that have to anything? Are you trying to say that she wouldn't be a young, phenomenal role model if she was straight? Sturgeon was growing up. There weren't many female role models, but it was more about quality more than quantity. All right. There weren't very many women in politics at all when I was growing up in my party, and indeed in the area I grew up became active in politics. In the SNP, although there weren't hundreds and hundreds of senior women, there were a small number of very influential women. I think it's so important for women in all walks of life. Sturgeon is considered a strong feminist leader, yes, and that will be her downfall. Even though she didn't know the term feminism growing up, she always campaigned for women's rights. Oh, I'm sure she did, I was always really passionate about women's rights and equal opportunities. Well, if that was the case, then surely you would have done a bit of research and figured out that all the things that you thought at that time that needed to be done in order to achieve equality for women was done a long time ago. So you were beaten to the punch. But oh no, just brush that under the rug and pretend that you're still justified in terms of a feminist organisation. Sturgeon says she cares a lot about the next generation of female politicians. What about male politicians? You don't care about them? No, it's all about females. You know, it's all about females. That's all it ever is. It's all I ever hear coming out of Sturgeon's mouth. Helmet head, the progressive guru. She has one demographic in mind, and that's feminists, or women, I should say. The advice I give her to young women starting out in politics today is that the most important thing is to be yourself. Oh yes, we've already discussed that. Not all women are the same, but be yourself and allow your own personality. Not all women are the same. You're trying to say everybody's different. Everybody makes their own choices in life, but yet you're going to make sure that as many as possible become the adults that you want them to be. Don't try and fit in and behave in the same way that others around you are. Ugh. Do as I say, not as I do, clearly, eh? She's described herself as an ardent, passionate feminist. Is a vocal champion of women's rights that women have got in this country, but yet, according to her, they don't. And it was recently announced that the First Minister was to become a global advocate for a UN Women campaign and gender equality. She said in February the Scottish Government has signed up to the UN's He for She campaign. Oh, you mean you signed up for that? The government may very well have toed the party line in that regard, but make no mistake about it, this is for your ego stroking and nobody else's. Because it is vital we continue to make progress with gender equality. Where are you talking about in this regard? Are you talking about Gambia and Somalia and countries like that? Well, why don't you take your progressive BS and go over there then, instead of dictating to us how to live our lives, and instead of shitting on fucking men here on a day-to-day basis. Wow. I am honoured to have been asked to be their first global advocate. Sturgeon has also backed a high-profile Women 50-50 campaign, which does not equate to equality at all. I don't understand how these people think that way, man. After becoming First Minister in 2014, she also unveiled a gender-balanced cabinet, and the SNP on her watch has used all women shortlists for Hollywood selections. All women shortlists, because that is true progression. Nothing screams out equality than all women selections. However, she's under fire for the way the SNP has decided to select candidates for the European election, which may take place. In the 2004 election, two male SNP MEPs, Alan Smith and Ian Hudson, were elected, while the third place candidate, Tasmina Ahmed, lost out. The two will start again in the event of an election, and party members will rank 6 candidates, 3 men and 3 women. Well, that's equality, but oh no, the feminists won't be happy about that, because there's a possibility that a man could take centre stage, and we can't have that, because nothing screams out equality than women having all the glory at every possible opportunity. Isn't that right, Sturgeon? That's equality, that's feminism, isn't it? Oh wow. However, the candidates slot will not be gender zipped, alternating the places for men and women, which could result in men securing the top 3 positions. Oh, how fucking dare they do that? That is clear misogyny at play here. A recent meeting considered various options and zipping was ruled out. One party insider said the procedure adopted gave some protection to the two sitting MEPs. The zipping mechanism could have led to either Smith or Hudgton being ranked third. However, another source said the SNP has not bucked zipping in the past. Scottish Labour opened applications for potential candidates, blah, 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 blah. Lib Dems who believe they have a chance of picking up an MEP seat are reserving their top spot on a list for a woman. Oh, that's so progressive of you. How progressive and inclusive and diverse are you, Lib Dems? Pity you're a useless shit party. The Scottish Tories, by contrast, do not support positive discrimination measures for female candidates. Big positive discrimination, it's illegal. It's fucking illegal to do this, but yet they masquerade it as positive discrimination. No matter what way you cut it, it's illegal. Distinctive hypocrisy from Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP. What's new? This is why it's disappointing this First Minister stayed silent whilst her party bosses decided to potentially make it so much harder for female members to become MEPs. Oh, just... It's crucial that every election, all parties take forward mechanisms to ensure gender equality is clearly on the ballot paper. How can you achieve gender equality if only 3 candidates are in the running? What, 1.5? What? You're going to have a non-binary? Eh? Jesus, your obsession with trying to achieve equality in a world or in a country that's already got it will be your downfall because you'll never be content. It's pathetic and cringeworthy. And above all else, your never-ending attempts to pander and appease and satisfy the lives of women in your attempts to empower them, to combat the misogyny, combat the sexism, and so on and so forth. You expose yourself as a misandrist. If the fucking haircut didn't do that. Fucking hell, peace.